Alberta Agenda 2050, the ultimate socialist and fascists, are Albertans today in large groves, mass comments on my feeds with undeniable evidence in front of us today, all over the Government of Alberta website, Canada website. Massive comments, Albertans, God bless Danielle Smith. Agenda 2050, pipeline all of Alberta's resources to be consumed in one generation. I really should have tagged the Charlie Kirk account in this. He did a major video. I know a lot of Albertans got together in Edmonton and Calgary. I know they gave a special sigil in his honor, but what they think and what they do and what they follow is nothing Charlie Kirk preached at all. It's nothing of Christian principle. It's not American. And Americans see it. I know I get messages. I CC'd Benjamin Ebley. In fact, I could have probably CC'd a dozen other Americans who follow us. There's literally hundreds on the Canada 51st State page. And what really sucks is those Americans see all Canadians in their comments. It's all over U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra's multiple social media accounts. The best expression of what Alberta's become and what it is, and when I say become, it's a lot longer before what we face today and the China transition, the World Economic Agenda 2050 transition that Daniel Smith's bragged about for years and cemented almost immediately upon ascension to premier. A total fraud, floor crosser. She's the ultimate traitor. And yet Albertans blindly are going, yay, yay, yay. You are all identical to Venezuelans. Venezuelans, in their transformation, in their most recent history, same thing, all about there's never enough money. You have all the resources in the world, and Alberta is tremendously more stockpiled, enriched, and blessed than Venezuela, hands down. But even them, with their massive resources, it was never enough. It was never enough. Still third world status. And this is where Albertans can't internalize. They can't see themselves in this evil regime system. They want to believe in a lie. No different than Venezuelans. No different than most of the radical Muslim world, to be honest and frank. And it's sad. It's sad. People can't see it. Alberta, in its population, even currently in its 5 million people, which is insane growth when you look at just the last 20 years. Wasn't so long ago we were 4.2, 3.8, 3.4, 3.2. My children were just in elementary school at 3.2 million. You think about that. You think about that rapid population increase, and Albertans are daft, blind, like every other Canadian. I want to give this quick example of how all Canadians are institutionalized. I travel this country extensively. I work all over, everywhere I can to influence. I go and I meet communities. Currently, I'm in the equivalent of the very old Ontario, not the 1905 Ontario, below Ottawa, but still in the northeastern regions of what was old Ontario, all American, really. Technically, I'm north, but I can look across Lake Huron to Michigan. I'm at that elevation in the world towards the Arctic, well below the 49th parallel, but it's northern old Ontario. And it blows, it snows, it's brutal here. I'm warming up my car right now. Just awful. And no matter where you go in Canada, you know what unites Canada? Stupidity. Canadians and stupidity. trees. I grew up in the Dust Bowl, Alberta. As a child, I remember all the dust blowing in the community my parents had moved to from Peace River, where they're getting their real first start after the farm. And we'd have to wear coverings over our faces. The dust would blow. And all the communities were like that, all the farms. And in winter, the snow would blow right across the road. You'd be in 50 below. You lose power, heat, you're dead. You're dead. And all of those people knew instinctively plant trees. My father painstakingly planted 480 spruce and pine trees, making a wall all along the property everywhere. And guess what? No matter how big and hard the wind blows, those roads are stationary calm. You can stand there and watch the flakes go down. You'll see this in much of Canada, and then you'll see a different Canada all over in pockets. Farmers tripping over quarters to pick up pennies don't want to plant the trees along their property line, along these roadways, along all their road accesses to their farm, to their major barns where they hold equipment. They won't do it. And they will continue to plow and then replow because the wind blows tremendously and it fills up all the roadways, blows cars off the road. I'm seeing it right where I am in Ontario. No different than southern Alberta, southeastern Alberta, no different than a mass majority of that 40% of Saskatchewan populated, where there are no tree barriers. They let the wind blow across, blow all the snow, blow the dust and dirt. And it's amazing that no matter where you go in Canada, this idiocracy exists united amongst Canadians, especially in agriculture. Pure stupidity, tripping over quarters to pick up pennies, and the energy you waste. When you go to any of these other communities, yes, northern Alberta, northern Saskatchewan, northern Ontario, you'll see the tree lines. And why? Because temperatures rapidly descend, and you can't have range roads closed all year long. Do you know what you get in Alberta, southern Alberta? I bet you it's the same as Saskatchewan. Every other range road, once it blows over, they leave it. They leave it. Because you will constantly be plowing anyway, and they don't have the money or resources. The money for the farms, that extra 12 feet of shadowed, lower crop yield, it still yields, but you see it. I know, I live in those communities. I grew up in those tree-walled communities where it's safer to drive on the back roads than it is on the highway. That's a fact. When it gets real bad, hey, you're safe and sound on the gravel back roads because you watch the flakes just go down, even when the wind's blowing 70, 80 clips, and it amazes me. And it's in that mentality that I make this video where all Canadians are and how easily bamboozled they really are. Albertans are right now lining up behind Danielle Smith and Mark Carney to sell all of their resources, fossil fuel resources, before 2050. They want them all gone, empty out all the coffers. That's the new Northern Gateway pipeline to China. It's all for China. 3 billion people. 5 million Albertans are going to watch the federal and provincial crown, whom actually own the resources. Not any of you dum-dums, but you love your swollen budget that spends 5 times more than the state of Florida, with 5 times more your population and literally 60% more retired persons in their state. Think about that. You've got to be pretty daft, dumb, and ignorant not to look at that and say, why is my province 5 times less the population with massively amounts less retired population spending upwards of 5 times more than they are per capita. Why is my expense sheet like that? Why? Why are my taxes radically and uncontrollably higher than all of theirs? And people tell me, oh, equalization, oh, this, it's that. This is provincial budget with provincial monies. It has no explanation other than radical, lunatic, corrupt, out-of-control spending not matched in the rest of Canada. Venezuela was like that too. They just kept increasing taxes, signing on to agendas, transitioning until the people were absolutely belly up. And that's where Albertans want to go. They're such in a panic because they can't sustain themselves, apparently, without high and egregious taxation, borrowing, debt loading, that they have to sell all their resources in one generation so that they're dependent on the rest of the country, BC Hydro, Ontario Nuclear, if the grids can reach you or are developed enough to fill that void. I don't see it. I see Alberta going extremely down the toilet to Venezuela. One of the first regions to do it, and there's no reason or rhyme for it. In their mass plenty, resources, agriculturally rich, forestry rich, ultimate best source of uranium rich area region in the world, and yet they're still belly up, still unable to balance a budget or rein in radical spending. This was the story of Venezuela and many, many other countries in the world. On socialism and fascism, or just full-on socialism, which is what I see today and I'm watching unfold. Undeniable. It's across Canada, but there are regions like Alberta that claim to be this conservative stronghold of Jesus loving and following peoples, and there are people like that, but at the same time, they're swearing an allegiance to a great evil, basically worshiping it against everything that's in said Bible. Absolutely 3 or 180 degrees opposite of the United States, all 50 states of the Union. You can't get the most radical Democrat state. Let's just take New York and California and physically, meaning monetarily, compare them to Alberta and come up with a better conservative Alberta. No, Alberta's radically more socialist than both New York and California. Anyone who can't logically look at that and see it, anyone who can't see that Danielle Smith just signed all resources onto Agenda 2050 to blow it all in one generation, you're very daft, you're very programmed, institutionalized, you're a far gone lunatic communist and fascist. You really are. Nothing of Jesus Christ is there, or any Bible you read, because I've read so many of them, and there is no New Testament or Old Testament that's going to back you up, and yet you say that's the truth when it's a lie. Americans see the comments in plenty. If you haven't noticed, Americans are falling off of Alberta now. 8,500 Chinese CCTV cameras. Alberta's massive transition to China, selling massive military bases. Look at what happened to Penhold. Gone to China. China owns that. Massive 1/3 shares of our oil sands, Chinese owned. I mean, this was done a long time ago under Harper. China's been very quiet. They're keeping the assets they have, but they haven't added new investments. But all Albertans, at a tremendous rate, maybe so more than the rest of the country per person per capita, are transitioning to China at the most explosive rate and cheering and jeering for Danielle Smith. Let's destroy America. Let's transition to China. Let's make China more than USA. Let's destroy the American military complex. This is radical, it's sick, it's institutionalized, it's depraved, and I don't see Alberta surviving anything along with the rest of Canada in relation to the USA. They're never going to get the Crown's objectives. They're blindly following an evil Crown that will sell, molest, destroy your children of today and absolutely every generation from tomorrow onwards. And how delusional Canadians, especially Albertans and their conservative narratives, believe it to be anything other than that truth. Danielle Smith signed on to Agenda 2050. We are transitioning all our resources to China. That's the mission, to have them sold off before 2050. And people are jeering and cheering. It's all about me for now. Forget about all the children of the future. Welcome to Venezuela. That's you. That's you, the average majority Albertan that claims to be a Christian conservative. When you speak like that, when you jeer for that with Danielle Smith, you're average American. I have hundreds watching all your comments. What do you think they go home with? What do you think U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra thinks of Canada? Have you seen the literally upwards of thousands of comments from deluded, polluted, mentally ill Canadians institutionalized in an Oxford system of pure evil? One of the worst, if not the worst in the world. Canada won London. There's a tower in its name, a celebration of how to pollute and dilute human beings away from God and into worship of human beings on earth. It's humiliating, it's embarrassing. I'm ashamed of being Albertan. I'm ashamed absolutely of being Canadian. Not a day goes by that I don't loathe what I see all around me. But we fight. We're going for Canada, the 51st state, and we need to do that. And we need to always call out all of this as it is in all its pure evil. It's Danielle Smith, as she always was, the 19-year-old who was roped in to the Crown, became evil very early on, a floor crosser, can't even stick to her principles, always has been, always will be. Mark Carney, another floor crosser, flipper, 16-year conservative, now magically a liberal in the last few years. They're all evil. And if you as a Canadian, especially Albertans, don't see that, you're what's wrong with Canada. You just look in the mirror. You're what's wrong. It's not just liberals. It's you too. You are exactly the same. You see it in comments. I know. I see it. My loyalist friends and followers see it. This is a rude wake-up call because USA isn't going to tolerate any of it. And the hard way to Canada 51st state is the Texas example, where you go belly up like Venezuela and you remain in that state for decades so that they deinstitutionalize your children. America doesn't do anything by force. They let you destroy yourself and they make you pick yourself up. Learn to be better. Find a way. You did this to yourself. That's what they do. That's how America deals with it. Because it's better to be the sun and shining and the man takes his coat off than be the wind blowing. And the Canadian lie and narrative is American annexation is by force. It's never by force. It's you on your hands and knees begging for it. And America going, well, when we see you figure it out on your own, we'll let you in. Until then, you're going to remain tits up and impoverished and learn to live with nothing. Because that's what you did to yourself. You turned yourself into nothing. You followed a commune, a cult. That's what you did. And it's amazing all these Canadians go, no, the other side's the cult, or Donald J. Trump's the cult, or it's his fault. And it's look in the mirror. Look what you've allowed to grow in your country, in your region, unabated, unresisted, and you just what can I get? It's about me, me, me. Damn my own children. That is not the Bible. That's not even human condition. That's amoral. It's also inhuman. It's not a natural state of being. If you ever want to learn about America, the institution, start with nature and the state of being. Because it was the American Indian way for 1,000 years, long before colonialism. And those blessed 13 colonies in their ordinances, those early constitutions, absolutely the first Massachusetts, enshrines all of that. That is the adoption of the American Indian principle of nature and humans' roles in it. Accepting your humanity, being at one with nature and natural law, a natural state of being, which means you sacrifice for your children. These are even Christian principles. Jesus taught this, lived his entire life that way, all the way to the end, where he gives the ultimate sacrifice. That's America. That's the institution and core principle of America. Very Christian. Canada, you sacrificing those of tomorrow, the children of today, you are not Christian. You are everything but that. And actually many other religions. You've already lost that. You've been conditioned into being inhuman. This is the start of fascism. And it's justified through your absolute commune adoption of socialism. And you play them back together, enriching a divine human being you call your provincial and federal crowns. And we see it. Americans message me, they see it. Whoa, did you see this? They'll actually screenshot and send me the link to the comment, and they'll show it. And then I look on the post, holy crap. And I look at this person who claims to be all against all these things, but here they are, already bellowing out their idiocracy, their crown's superiority. They don't see it. I have people who follow me sometime, even, who are like, yeah, God bless Daniel Smith. For what? For what? Exactly what are you blessing her for? Destroying America? Destroying your children, your grandchildren, and every generation to come, robbing them blind? Leaving them holding your bag of bullshit? Of your divine allegiance to another human being? And it's okay. Who cares about your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren? It's about me, 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 I, right now. Gimme, gimme. What do I get? What do I get? That's evil. That's un-American. That's everything America doesn't wish to be. A massive majority. Whereas that mentality is massive majority in Canada. Off the charts, even compared to California and New York at its core. It's scary. Lots has to happen in every region in Canada. Right now, critical region is Alberta, the most transitioned to China and the most blindly walking into it. That blind, that wanting, and that idea of selling the children of tomorrow. If you claim to have followed Charlie Kirk, you would know that's absolutely deadly against many, many presentations and examples he did over his years, going through that as an absolute no-no. Those natural rights of every American they're enshrined with, that state of being that was adopted from the North American Indians. Absolutely. As that's how they lived for thousands of years, long before the colonials. That's my video, everybody. Share, get it out there. Not much more to say. And people can go, no, you're lying. Trans Mountain is all natural gas to China. All of it's going to China. Northern Gateway, with Mark Carney and Daniel Smith Agenda 2050, is the move away from China. It's all over the news. Everyone's now publishing what I've been telling you for more than a year as I bang a drum. But still people don't want to believe it. but it's reality. It's right in front of you. It's on Premier Daniel Smith's website. It's on Mark Carney, Prime Minister website. Official. They even hold their signatures on their document for Agenda 2050. The absolute end of all Alberta's natural resources by 2050. How blindly stupid and evil do you have to be to follow that and sacrifice your entire future of your children and their children and grandchildren and all those to come after? 5 million people that stupid just in the province of Alberta in massive majority. And these are conservative card-carrying Canadians claiming to be Christian and all these values. Sick and depraved. That's my video. Share. Get it out there. We'll see you soon. Bye now.